Mariana grew up in a small town, where churches dotted every corner and life revolved around Christian traditions and teachings. Her family, deeply rooted in the faith, instilled in her from an early age the importance of Christian values, especially purity before marriage. Mariana embraced these values fervently, firmly believing in waiting until marriage to experience any form of physical intimacy. She was known in the community for her devotion and kindness. Sundays at church were not only a religious ritual, but also an opportunity to reinforce her faith and values. It was against this backdrop of faith and community that Mariana met Gabriel during a church youth retreat. He, like her, was a devout Christian, known for his upright character and his dedication to the community. From the start, they felt a special connection, a kind of mutual recognition that went beyond words. Gabriel had a warm smile and eyes that shone with kindness. He shared Mariana's desire to maintain her purity until marriage, a rare affinity that brought them together quickly. In the months that followed, Mariana and Gabriel discovered many common interests. They spent hours discussing the Bible, sharing dreams for the future, and supporting each other in their faith journeys. Their relationship blossomed, rooted in shared values and a deep respect for each other. The proposal came on a quiet evening. After a special church service, Gabriel, with tears in his eyes and a voice choked with emotion, got down on one knee in front of Mariana and asked her to marry him. For Mariana, there was no doubt, it was a divine plan that was unfolding. The answer was a joyful and hopeful yes. Together, they planned a wedding that reflected their faith and love. They decided to enter the marriage as virgins, a sacred vow that symbolized their commitment not only to each other, but also to their beliefs. They saw it not as a restriction, but as an act of faith and a gift they would give each other on their wedding night. Mariana and Gabriel's love was the embodiment of pure love, celebrated and blessed by their family, friends, and the church community. They prepared for their wedding with premarital counseling classes at the church, where they discussed the importance of communication, mutual respect, and faith in marriage. These sessions strengthened their commitment and prepared the ground for a marriage based on solid Christian principles. The wedding ceremony was scheduled for the spring, in the same church where they met and fell in love. Mariana imagined the day like a fairy tale, dressed in white, walking down the aisle of the flower-decorated church to meet Gabriel, who was waiting for her at the altar. She dreamed of blessing her love under the gaze of God and everyone she loved. Mariana and Gabriel's wedding ceremony was planned with every detail reflecting their love and faith. The church was decorated with white flowers and golden ribbons, creating a heavenly atmosphere. The altar glowed with soft candlelight, symbolizing the purity and eternal flame of their love. Family and friends, many of whom had followed the couple's growing love closely, gathered in the church, their faces lit up with smiles and tears of joy. Mariana, dressed in an elegant wedding dress, looked like a heavenly vision. The dress, with delicate details and a long, flowing veil, was the perfect image of her purity and happiness. Her walk down the aisle was accompanied by a soft orchestra, playing a melody that seemed to bless every step she took. Gabriel was waiting at the altar, visibly moved when he saw Mariana approaching. He was impeccable in his attire, with a look of admiration and deep love for his future wife. When Mariana reached the altar, they exchanged glances laden with promises and shared dreams. The pastor's words resounded in the church, but for them, it seemed as if they were in a world of their own, blessed by the divine presence. The exchange of vows was a moment of deep emotion. Mariana and Gabriel made their promises to each other in voices that were firm, but charged with emotion. They spoke of love, respect, mutual support, and fidelity, not just as husband and wife, but as life partners, united by faith and love. When they were finally pronounced husband and wife, the church erupted in applause. The kiss that sealed the marriage was tender and full of meaning, a symbol of everything they had hoped and dreamed of together. The reception was equally splendid, with dancing, music, and a banquet celebrating the couple's union. Mariana danced with Gabriel, feeling like the happiest woman in the world. She was looking forward to their honeymoon, where, in a private and romantic place, they would finally share the physical intimacy they had treasured so much. It was the start of a new phase in their lives, one they were looking forward to with anticipation and joy. As the evening progressed, Mariana felt a mixture of emotions. There was joy and gratitude at the celebration of their love, but also a growing anxiety about the intimacy that was to come. She looked at Gabriel, her now husband, and saw the same mixture of emotions in him. They had talked about their first night together, approaching it with respect and care, but now that it was getting closer, Mariana couldn't help but feel a twinge of nervousness. When the party finally came to an end, and the last guests said their goodbyes, Mariana and Gabriel left for their honeymoon. As Mariana headed for this new chapter in her life, she could feel her heart beating fast. She was about to share one of the most intimate and sacred moments with Gabriel. It was the start of a journey they had planned and dreamed of together, a path of discovery, love and union that would begin that very night. Mariana and Gabriel's honeymoon was planned with the same care and attention as their wedding. They chose a picturesque resort, an oasis of tranquility and beauty, surrounded by nature. It was the perfect place to start their married life, away from the pressures of the outside world, in an atmosphere that promised romance and intimacy. When they arrived, they were greeted by a suite decorated with rose petals and candles, creating a cozy and romantic atmosphere. The suite's balcony offered a breathtaking view of the sea, with waves gently kissing the beach under the moonlight. Mariana felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. After all, that night represented the beginning of their married life in a very intimate and personal way. After an intimate dinner in the resort restaurant, they returned to the suite. Between nervous giggles and exchanges of glances full of love and anticipation, they began to explore each other. They were gentle touches, exploratory caresses, each respecting the other's limits and space, still navigating this new aspect of their relationship. It was at this moment, under the veil of night and expectations, that Mariana came face to face with a reality she had never considered. As they became more intimate, she discovered that Gabriel had a micropenis. The discovery took her by surprise, leaving her momentarily speechless. They had never discussed it before. Purity before marriage was a principle they both valued deeply, so the opportunity to explore such physical intimacy had never arisen. Mariana tried to hide her initial surprise, not wanting to hurt Gabriel. He, sensing the sudden change in her expression, felt embarrassed and vulnerable. There was an uncomfortable silence, a space filled with unexpressed emotions and unasked questions. Gabriel, with a trembling voice, broke the silence. He explained that he had always known about his condition, but had hoped that the love and faith they shared would be enough to overcome any physical challenges. Mariana, still processing the situation, felt torn between her love for Gabriel and the unexpected surprise that challenged her expectations for the wedding. The evening, which was supposed to be one of celebration and discovery, became a journey of introspection and uncertainty. Mariana, despite her initial shock, tried to approach the situation with understanding and sensitivity. She knew that Gabriel, the man she had chosen to share her life with, deserved empathy and support. Regardless of the circumstances, they talked openly about their feelings and fears. Gabriel expressed his concern about not being able to satisfy Mariana, and his fear that this could affect their relationship. Mariana, for her part, shared her insecurities and disappointments, but also reaffirmed her love for him. That night didn't bring the physical intimacy they had hoped for, but it was a moment of deep emotional connection. They slept in each other's arms, finding comfort in each other's presence, even in the midst of uncertainty. Over the next few days, while enjoying the beauty of the resort, the couple continued to explore their emotions and the reality of their relationship. Walks by the sea, dinners under the stars, and long conversations helped strengthen their bond. Although the question of the micropenis remained a shadow in their minds, Mariana began to wonder about the future of their relationship. She loved Gabriel deeply, but also faced doubts about how to deal with the situation. Would love and faith be enough to overcome this unexpected challenge? Could the lack of physical satisfaction affect the relationship in the long term? Mariana was faced with a dilemma that would challenge her beliefs, values, and the essence of her marriage. The revelation on her honeymoon was a turning point in Mariana's life, opening up a chasm between the expectations she had for her marriage and the reality she was now facing. She found herself immersed in a whirlwind of emotions, questioning the values that had always guided her life. Faith, which had always given her strength and direction, now seemed like an uncertain road, and the love she felt for Gabriel faced its toughest test. Mariana found herself in a constant state of reflection. She would spend hours alone, gazing at the sea that flanked her town, searching for answers in the waves that broke on the shore. In these hours of solitude, she pondered the marriage vows she had made. They were sacred promises, made before God and her family. But now she wondered if those vows were enough to sustain a marriage that didn't meet all her needs. She also reflected on love and commitment. Gabriel was a good, devoted and loving man. He never hesitated to show his love for her. Even in the face of challenging circumstances, Mariana wondered whether she should focus on these positive aspects of their relationship and look for ways to overcome the physical issue together, or whether the lack of full sexual satisfaction was a decisive factor for the future of their marriage. Mariana's dilemma extended beyond her own needs. She thought about Gabriel and how a decision to separate would affect him. She worried about the judgment of the community, the whispers and stares that would surely come if she chose a path that many would consider unusual or unacceptable. The nights were the hardest, lying next to Gabriel. Mariana struggled with her thoughts. She felt the warmth of his body and remembered the moments of joy they had shared. But at the same time, she felt a gap, a space that words and caresses couldn't fill. Mariana sought guidance in her faith. Attending church more fervently than ever, she prayed for clarity and strength, for a sign that would show her the way forward. In her prayers, she asked for wisdom to make the right decision, not only for herself, but also for Gabriel. Her conversations with the pastor were a mixture of comfort and confusion. He emphasized the importance of marriage vows and the strength of love and faith to overcome challenges. But for Mariana, these words, although comforting, did not offer a clear solution to the dilemma she was facing. Over time, Mariana's crisis turned into a journey of self-knowledge and deep reflection. She began to understand that, whatever decision she made, she would have to reconcile her beliefs and values with her personal needs and desires. Mariana's journey was a path of discovery, where faith, love and acceptance were constantly tested, challenging the norms and values she had always considered unshakable. And in your opinion, what should Mariana's final decision be? Or rather, if you were faced with this dilemma, what would your decision be? Leave your answer in the comments. And don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel.